everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Helena, but my channel name is Byleanarai. Today we're going to be canning candied jalapenos, better known as cowboy candy. Now this content is a little different from my regular content, but this is what I'm veering into. I love farming, homesteading. That's what this channel is going to be turning into, a gardening, homesteading type of channel. So if that's your thing, then keep on watching. Okay, so for cowboy candy, for this specific recipe that I'm using, you're gonna need 2 pounds of jalapenos. I went ahead and diced mine up yesterday, and let me tell you guys, please, please, please wear gloves. I had pepper hand for literally 24 hours straight. I could not sleep. I think the only reason I fell asleep, I literally think I passed out from the pain. Oh, there's squirrels. Oh no, squirrels outside. We're fighting. So yeah, this is, I don't have quite 2 pounds of jalapenos. This is 12 super large jalapenos, and then there's a hatch chili in here and a few mini bell peppers. So that's what I'm using. And then you're gonna need some apple cider vinegar. Mine's just the Kroger brand, and you're gonna need to make sure this is 5% acidity. And then you're gonna need salt, and when you're canning recipes, you're gonna need to make sure that your salt isn't iodized. So you wanna make sure it says non-iodized or whatever this says. This salt does not supply iodine, so this is non-iodized salt. And then I've got some onion powder, celery seed, and some turmeric. So that's what's going to be going in my cowboy candy. If you like more spicy, I would suggest maybe putting in some red chili flakes, but those, they're already spicy and I left all the seeds in, so that's what's going in mine. And then I sliced up some garlic, so I'm gonna put that in there as well. So I'm gonna bring you guys closer so that you can see what's going on in this pot. And I also have this stock pot going. It's on like a medium heat or almost medium heat with the jars that I'm gonna be using to can. I'm using half pint, so 8-ounce jars, and those are just getting hot in there because when you're canning, you don't wanna put a hot liquid into a cold jar. That would cause the jar to crack. So first what we're gonna do is turn on our heat. Go ahead and just put it on like medium low. So for my recipe, let me just pull it up on my phone. 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. So 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. For sugar, it says 3.5 cups of white granulated sugar. And I just filled up my sugar container, so I'm gonna use the rest of what's in. The whole point of cowboy candy is for it to be sweet and spicy. So I've got 1 cup. But if you find that it's too sweet, just adjust the sugar a little bit. Not too much because sugar is necessary when you're canning things for preservation. Okay, I've got 3 cups. Let's see how that is. Let me get a spatula. This is what it's looking like. So I'm just gonna, whoa, I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Dissolve this sugar. In this apple cider vinegar. And this is basically our brine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put in the rest of my ingredients. So let's put in our sliced garlic. And this is fresh garlic. I like to use fresh just because it's more potent. But if you only have the one in the jar, that's fine too. And with Cowboy candy, you can put it on basically everything. I know a lot of people like to put it over cream cheese and eat it with crackers. I personally am gonna eat it on burgers and stuff. And let me see how much the recipe said for, it says half a teaspoon. But with the seasonings, you guys can do that to whatever you like. Okay. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. Half a teaspoon of turmeric. And then half a teaspoon of celery seed. And as for the salt, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then you have your half teaspoon of salt. And you're gonna wanna go ahead and let all of these just melt together. Really, we're just trying to get the sugar melted right now. It smells really good. I think I'm gonna add, even though I put the sliced garlic, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder as well. I have this roasted garlic powder from Pints. If you know anything about Pints spices, they are the best. And this, I definitely recommend picking up. If you have a Pints near you, I'm honestly not sure if they have a website. I would be surprised if they didn't because Pints is so popular. Oh, I can't get this thing off, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Okay, that looks good. So while all this is melting together, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up my station and I'll bring you guys back. Okay guys, so the sugar is dissolved and basically now what we're doing is, let me put you guys down so you can see. Now all we're doing is waiting for this to come to a boil, and that's when we'll add in our peppers. So like I stated earlier, I have in here really big jalapenos and they're really spicy. As you can see, I didn't seed it. Make sure you guys are wearing gloves when you're cutting jalapenos. I was in the worst pain that I've ever been in and I have broken my ankle. That, oh my God. Okay, maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic, but the pain lasted for so long. It's painful. Like I couldn't touch anything. I had to have my hand in ice cold milk, like nothing was working. So please wear gloves when you're cutting jalapenos. And I had never needed to before, like I've never had pepper hand, whatever they call it before. So I didn't wear gloves because I just never needed to before. But now, anytime I'm working with peppers, I'm gonna make sure I have gloves on because that stuff's painful, man. I even asked in one of my canning groups, I was like, what can I do? And they said, they're giving me a lot of suggestions, most of which I had already tried and they didn't work. And somebody said urine helped. I personally am not gonna pee on myself, but if you want to, go for it. And I think what helped me is either I passed out from the pain and then I woke up, I was up until 4 a.m. like just crying in pain, and then finally went to sleep or passed out, who knows, and I woke up and it was gone. But I think what helped it was I came across a blog that said to run your hands under extremely hot water. That that pain, indescribable. But after you do that, wash them with soapy water, because I guess the heat opens up the pores in your hand. And then like rub your hands in olive oil, because the olive oil, I guess, disperses the capsaicin, which is like the hot stuff in jalapenos that causes that burn. So it came to a boil, so we're just adding in these jalapenos. I'm gonna get all of them without touching them. I don't know if they were just still too fresh, or I don't know what it was that caused them to burn like that, but whew. Okay, so now we're just gonna let these jalapenos basically cook down and absorb some of that brine. Ooh, this is hot, you guys. Wow, don't stand directly above this and inhale it. That's some spicy stuff. So I will bring you guys back when this is cooked down. Okay guys, so as you can see, it's now at boiling. Now that it's boiling, go ahead and let this boil for about 5 minutes. And after that 5 minutes is up, then we'll transfer it into our jars and get canning. And like I said, try not to breathe that in. So go ahead and set your timer for 5 minutes once it reaches boiling, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay everyone, my 5 minutes is almost up for the jalapenos, so I'm gonna go ahead and take out the jars that I was letting heat up in the water. Like I said, the reason for that is you don't want to put all that hot liquid from the jalapenos. You don't want to put that into cold jars, because it can cause the jars to break from the temperature fluctuation. I've also got some of the canning lids in there, letting those warm up. Those are really hot, so you don't want to grab them with your hands. I went ahead and tasted the brine, and these are going to be hot, but it's the perfect, like, sweet and spicy. It's not very tart, which I am surprised about. But it's the perfect heat. These are hot, but not to the point that I can't touch them. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this pot that has the candied jalapenos over here, and we'll get to canning. I'm gonna go ahead and put another towel here. I'm going to use a ladle to ladle this into the jars. And the jars are not hot, but they're pretty warm. And I'll tilt you guys down so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got our funnel. And we're just going to start ladling in our peppers. Tilt you guys down a little bit more. And with these, I think you're going to need 1/2 inch of head space. So I'm gonna try and not get any liquid into them just so that I can make sure that it's filled up as much as it can be with the jalapenos. Like this one can probably get a little more jalapeno.
Probably should have used a slotted spoon. And then we'll use this too. And this is very spicy, so if you guys don't like spice, I would DC your jalapenos so that it's not too spicy for you. Because I don't DC mine at all, but I like spice. And like I said, with the sweetness, for me it balances it out perfectly, but I know not everybody can take spice. So go ahead and I don't think I'll get a full 4 jars.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take, you know, the thing that you use to check how much headspace you have. And I'm gonna go ahead and try and push the jalapenos down. Not only is this getting out the air bubbles that are in here, because you don't want any air bubbles, that it cans properly, but it's also allowing me to put more in and make sure that I'm using the space of the jar as accurately as possible. Because I don't want to waste any space. So I'm going to go ahead and finish canning these, and I'll bring you guys back when it's time to put them in the water bath. Alrighty, so I've got these all canned up. For me, it made me about 3 half pints. So now I'm just getting all of the air bubbles out. And I'm leaving about 1/2 inch of headspace. So you can see all those bubbles, or I don't know if you guys can tell, but all the bubbles are escaping to the top. So just gonna move this out of the way. And now that my water has gotten hot, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the mess I'm making. Take a paper towel. Oh, sun's going down. Or it's just moving. It's too early for it to go down. I'm gonna take some white vinegar, put it on a paper towel, and go ahead and just line the rims of the jar so that we get a good seal. So sorry about the lighting change. But if I didn't tell you already, this is water bath canning. I hope I mentioned that, but it should be in the title. And you want to make sure you're using new lids. You can reuse the rings, but you don't want to reuse the lids. And you're going to want these to be finger tight. So not so tight that any air can't get in, but just tight enough that the lids don't come up. So I'm gonna move you guys over here, 1 second. Okay, so I've got this water heating up, and now we're gonna transfer our jars into the water bath. And you want to make sure that's not sitting right. You want to make sure that the water is covering the tops of the jars by at least an inch. So out of my recipe, I got 3 jars. Okay, so we've got all of the cans in there, and we're gonna want this to reach a boil and then water bath can it for 15 minutes, okay? 15 minutes once it reaches a boil. That's when you start your timer. Okay, so they just finished their 15-minute process. They just finished processing for 15 minutes. So I went ahead and turned the stove off, and then we're gonna let them sit in the water for 5 more minutes, and after that 5 minutes is up, then we can transfer them out and put them on a cool rag to dry. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, so now I'm gonna push you guys back a little bit. Okay, so my camera died, so I had to switch to my phone, but like I stated previously, the 5 minutes is up, so we're gonna now take them out and let them sit on this towel to dry and finish processing for 24 hours. Then listen for that pop. That lets you know that they sealed properly. There's that pop we're looking for. And then here is my half pint of the brine. And I'm probably gonna make some barbecue sauce with this. And these are very hot, you guys, so please do not touch them. Oh, and there goes that last pop. So all 4 jars popped. That's just an indicator that all your jars have sealed properly. And I forgot to say one thing when I was telling you guys about the processing times. Make sure you look for your elevation, because if you're above 1,000 feet of sea level, then you're gonna need to process for longer. I'm not, so just make sure you look and see what sea level you're at, so that you can know how to safely can your goods. So yeah, this is what we got. We got 3 8-ounce jars of our Cowboy candy and 2 jars of the brine. But I only canned 1 thing of the brine because I'm gonna enjoy the other one. So yeah. If you guys liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be more videos like this coming out. Thank you.